So it's been a while since I've done a video. I wanted to do a short one here about masks during the pandemic. Um, I think we're kind of putting the cart before the horse on the debate there between whether it's a freedom thing. I'm a free American, and so I should have the right to wear it or not. If you have a mandate, you're taking away some of my freedoms. Well, here's the thing: there are certain things in our society, in our country, that we can't do, and the argument of "hey, it's you're taking away my freedom" just doesn't apply. An extreme example would be walking into a bank and shooting somebody, the teller, and then taking the money, and then going to court and going, "Hey, you can't arrest me for this. This is a free country. I was exercising my freedoms to do what I want." The majority of us are going to be like, "No, that doesn't apply. That's not an example of your freedom." Another example might be, let's say a couple has a baby and they decide they want to name the baby, uh, you know, Ben Franklin or whatever, and they have the right to do that. It's a free country, and that's part of your freedom. You name your child what you want. Now, there's been some instances where, somebody want to name their kid like bullshit dumbass the third, and they're like, "Hey, we can't do that," and they've had some court issues over those things. But I think the majority of us would agree that naming your kid is a freedom thing. Now, then there's certain things that are more in the gray area where you've had really big debates over, like, say, seat belts in your car or crash helmets for motorcycles. In certain areas of the country, motorcycle helmets are mandated, and others are not. And there's certain types of helmets, like the smaller ones and the full coverings. But, anyways, that's an issue that's been like, hey, you're infringing on my freedoms because I'm really just risking my own life on the motorcycle. But yet, in some places, it's mandated. So when it comes to masks, I think it's one of those things like, you know, should you have the freedom to walk into a grocery store buck naked and grocery shop? The majority of Americans are saying no, that's not cool. We don't want that. I think when it comes to masks, where you're dealing with a pandemic and you're dealing with sick people, people that could get sick, in my personal opinion, I don't see that it's a freedom thing at all. It's just like, should you have the freedom to go 150 miles an hour down the interstate? I say no, and most of us would say no. But there's like, hey, it's a free country. Now, for me, it's like if you got a pandemic and a bunch of shit going on, it's not a freedom thing, you know. It's obvious. Maybe it's not obvious to you, but to me, it just seems like until we get this shit under control, it just makes sense, common sense. Just like you don't have the freedom to go 150 on the interstate, walk naked into a grocery store, or shoot the bank teller. I don't. There's a line in society that we draw where these things are your freedoms and these things are not your freedoms because the society and the group says it's not. Um, and usually it's the majority that decides that. So until we get this pandemic shit under control, if they want to mandate masks or whatever, it doesn't. I don't see a problem with it. It's not like a. It's like I don't know. I think I've been rambling on enough. Why don't you tell me what you think?